I'm back to doing some headphone content here on the channel, but I did want to make sure that I look at some of the other brands that might not immediately come to mind when you think about audio products. Well, enter Anker, a giant in the power department, but their Soundcore division has been gaining steam over the last little bit. Their latest offering looks to bring active noise cancellation, some great mics, and easy usage in an affordable package. Hey, this is Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? And these are the Anker Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro. So these earbuds mark Anker's first major audio release of the year, and they actually sent it to me a little while ago to try out. Now, amongst the Apples and the Samsungs of the world, it might be easy to overlook these earbuds, but they do deserve a good look, or a good listen, because they are priced at around $100 less than the competition. Now you can feel where Anker dialed things back to achieve that price point. The case is a little bit bigger than others, and while the build quality isn't cheap, the plastic material that's used doesn't really scream premium. That said, I do love that these buds come with a rather unique case, with this cover that slides up rather than just opening up like a clam. It's also one of the only earbud cases that you can open and close with one hand this easily. The case is also capable of wireless charging, aside from the charging that's done through the USB-C port. I certainly have been leaving these on a wireless charger at the home office desk or even here, so that the battery level is practically an afterthought. The earbuds are rated to last up to 6 hours when using active noise cancellation. Now, the only long-haul listening session that I did with these was with the right earbud in only, which meant no ANC, but that got me around 6 hours before I had to swap over to the left side. Now, this case provides additional charges for up to around 25 hours of total playtime. Those numbers are okay overall, but there are certainly longer-lasting earbuds out there. And lastly, there's a button on the back of this case, which is used to trigger the pairing mode when both earbuds are in place. This is still to me one of the most convenient ways to pair these earbuds to new devices, which you might have to do more often than not because the Air 2 Pros aren't really meant to be connected to more than one device simultaneously and switch between them seamlessly. The buds have this stem design, so if that's not really your jam, well, then you might need to look elsewhere, even in the Liberty lineup. I don't really mind the design of the buds as long as they sound good, but I will admit that the stems seem to push up against my fat cheeks, just enough that if I were to move my jaw enough, the earbuds nudge ever so slightly away from a secure position over time. Speaking of secure, the buds come with many pairs of earpieces, so that you can find the best seal, which will be important for getting the best possible sound. But no matter which ones I used, I would run into the issue I just mentioned regarding the stem eventually. These stems do provide a surface for touch controls, but they're quite limiting. On either ear you can do a double tap or a hold. I have hold as changing ambient sound modes and double tap for play and pause on both earbuds, because I am the kind of user that uses one earbud at a time, and those are the most important controls for me. This is actually a good jumping off point for how I feel about the sound quality. It might sound like an obvious thing, but in order to get the best quality from these earbuds, they have to be used in tandem. That's because the active noise cancellation only triggers when both are used together, and you get the best immersion with the active noise cancellation. When using one at a time, not only does the ANC become unavailable, but then bass is also significantly reduced, which makes me think that it's actually changing how it renders sound when it's using just one earbud. The place that I noticed this the most was during spoken word content like podcasts, where the lower registers of speakers' voices was noticeably softer when using one earbud than when using both at the same time, and that's with or without ANC. Now I know this is a kind of specific case scenario for a user like me. If you don't often use one earbud at a time, then this won't be much of an issue. So with that quirk aside, sound quality with these buds is pretty good together. The lows aren't super strong, but the rest of the spectrum is nice and balanced. It's easy enough to get into the Soundcore app and mess around with the equalizer, so that's where I opted for a bit more of a boost in the bass. There is an interesting feature called Hear ID, which asks you to go to a quiet place before it blasts beeps into your ears that you can confirm that you hear or not. Personally, I didn't find the resulting sound profile very satisfying compared to the other built-in ones, but it can be different for you, obviously. All in all, I think that the sound coming from the Liberty Air 2 Pro will be more than enough for the vast majority of casual listeners. Okay, so let's get to the noise cancellation. ANC is of course a marquee feature for these earbuds, and in the app you get 4 different levels based on the scenario you currently find yourself in. If you're outside, there's a mode that tries to lower the hums of the cars and the other elements that you'd come across outdoors. The indoor mode also helps with its own low-frequency rumbles like AC units or even the light that I'm using right above my camera right now. The transport is just as self-explanatory, even if I've not been able to test these in a scenario where ANC might be the most useful, like a plane. The transport mode is the one that seems to block out the most things, which does make sense. But no matter what, this ANC is the kind that requires you to have something playing so that you can drown out even what I would call the sound of artificial silence. There's a very light hiss and just a tiny bit of what you can hear being done to create that ANC effect, but that's something that you don't perceive once you have something playing. And finally, there is an ambient transparency mode that feeds in the outer sound so that you aren't closed off from your environment or from the people trying to talk to you. It is a feature that I think all earbuds should have, but in these, I think it could be louder and let more in. With enough transparency, you could keep one or both earbuds in and not have to worry about taking either of them out when it comes time to be social. And speaking of social, the final part of the Liberty Air 2 Pro that Anker is touting is good call quality. Now, with the video calls that I've done, some of the regular calls that I've done with these earbuds, for the most part, I've had really no complaints. No one has said anything about bad call quality whatsoever. Everyone said I sounded very clear. So here is your audio test using the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra in the Pro Video mode because it allows me to record audio straight from the earbuds. So this is a way for me to go ahead and test this, and you can let me know what you think of the audio quality in the comment sections down below. Anker's really been pushing their Soundcore brand, and they should. They've been doing it to great effect. If you are a fan of Anker's other affordable accessories products, then you can rest assured that the same attention to quality is extending to their audio accessories. The sound quality might not be the best out there, but the customizable ANC helps to elevate the overall listening experience. It also comes with a pretty robust equalizer. And while the ambient sound could use a bit of a boost, I give these earbuds props for their call quality and overall just the ease of use. I think that deservedly that all adds up to a price that undercuts many competitors. $129 proves to be a good middle-of-the-road price that provides basically all of the features that you would expect from high-end earbuds, dialed back just enough so that you can enjoy all those features without having to spend too much. To see more reviews of audio products like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. With all of that said, I'm going to call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.